The Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, Emeka Mba, has pointed out poor funding and inconsistency in government policies as major reasons why Nigeria is unable to meet up the global deadline for digitization. Mr. Mba explains that processing and reviewing of the paperwork under different ministers of information across the years was a major setback in achieving full digitization in Nigeria's broadcast sector. Today marks the deadline for the International Telecommunication Union for the full digitization of all broadcast stations around the world.
With the increasing role of broadcast media in the shaping of the world we live in, the International Telecommunications Union in 2006 prescribed June 17, 2015 as the deadline for member states to migrate from analog technology to digital technology.
Come June 17, 2015, they will go off. All the TV channels you see today will go off. And you will have to watch television. Either if you have an integrated TV set that can receive digital signals, or you have a set-top box that is able to decode the digital signal to your current analog TV.
In 2007, the federal government of Nigeria approves the setting in motion of Nigeria's digitization program for 2012, 3 years before the ITU schedule. Since then, many broadcast stations have started acquiring high-definition equipment and also putting in place some level of digital installations. However, meeting up with the 2012 target of full digitization has not been so easy owing to the capital-intensive nature of the transition.
Beyond, going further, there has to be money. I hope that, as I said, we have received assurances. We received assurances from the previous government, the government that just passed, from former President Goodluck Jonathan, in terms of funding. We're working through some of those assurances and approval to see how we can, raise money to go to the next steps.
The implication is like this. Not meeting the deadline, if any of our neighbors is able to transit from analog to digital broadcasting, our analog transmission must not cause any interference to their digital broadcasting. And we cannot claim protection from their digital broadcast that may stray into our country. That's the main implication. We cannot cause interference to digital broadcasting, and we cannot seek protection from digital broadcast.
Perhaps after 2012, it was still a 3-year grace for the Nigerian broadcast sector to catch up with the digital revolution. But today, another 3 years is gone, and Nigeria has not been able to meet the international digitization deadline. What is the feeling among Nigerians?
Now, how do we support analog when the whole world is going digital? So you see, if we know that this is going to happen, we've been given time to make it happen, and we just refuse to do it like every other thing that we do. So we lose those advantages, we lose the support, we lose everything.
I don't understand. I don't even know I didn't have idea of what we are talking about.
Well, since we've not had the digital, we've not been able to see the digital system, how it works. We wouldn't know the difference between the analog and the digital one in Nigeria. So we've not moved in there yet. If they say we have seen, we'll say, okay, maybe we are missing something. And so that does it. So maybe we are missing something until when we get there.
With the inability of Nigeria to beat the 2015 deadline for digital shift in broadcast, it puts a question on the nation's sincerity to the Freedom of Information Act and the role of the media as the fourth estate of the realm.
Residents of Eneka and Rukwopu communities in Rivers State have resorted to sending Save Our Souls messages to the Rivers State government regarding the heaps of refuse that has taken over their area. This follows the recent refusal of the state waste disposal contractors to continue work owing to the non-payment of their 4 months' salaries. Although the State Waste Management Agency says payments to contractors have commenced and the streets are being cleared, the people of Eneka community say the situation for them has become unbearable.
Etisola, now you're talking.
Some call it the Garden City. This is Port Harcourt, the River State capital. the streets appear to keep up with the billing. That status seems to be threatened in an Eka community in the state as refuse dumps take over the streets and walkways, causing some obstructions.
It's so alarming that the community has inflicted with this kind of disease and death. We are pleading to the state government, please. They should do something about it. The debt is so much in Eneka.
We have been suffering on this road because of this refuse dump. The people that used to carry it before are no longer carrying it. The rumor we have been hearing is that the government is owing them. But later somebody came and said that the government have paid them 2 months and they have started packing from town. So what we are begging is for the government to help us and get to this place fast. The thing is disturbing people. Look at it, it's covering the road. This place is no longer accessible.
Businesses and motorists are trying to cope with the situation, which they say has become unbearable.
People they breathe disease this time around. I bet when they help us come out the dustbin, who they say here we don't tire. So if for myself to even move, now problem for the dustbin.
Please, let them should come and walk this road. This still is disturbing us, truth, honestly. If this dustbins too, they should come and pack it, please, so that we will not see cholera in this environment.
The River State Waste Management Agency says it's on top of the situation. The sole administrator of the agency, however, maintains that the cleanup may take some time.
Just give us a chance. It's not a day work. We will achieve success. It's everybody concerned. It's not only our concern. Waste is generated every day. It's not issue that once you clean today, by tomorrow you will not see waste again. That's why we are trying to enlighten the people when they should bring out their waste. We have told the people that from 6 p.m. till 12 midnight, they have the right to bring the waste and drop them at the designated area so that the service providers can come out by 6 to 6 and get this in clear away. But you can see that even up to 6 p.m., up to 7, people are still bringing out waste. This is the only state that we are doing for a Christmas something. These waste are not being paid for.
As the waste agency continues to clear the streets of the accumulated debris, residents of Eneka and other communities can only hope that the train gets to them as soon as possible. Emmanuel Irei, Channels Television News.
Etisala, now you're talking.
As we wait for that to be cleared, we look towards more stories from other states, this time about politics, as the PDP Governors Forum now has a new chairman. He is Governor Olusegun Mimiko of Ondo State. This is part of the outcome of the group's meeting in Abuja last night, which lasted about 4 hours. Governor Mimiko takes over the leadership of the forum from former Akwa Ibom State Governor Godswill Akpabio. Speaking to journalists after the meeting, Governor of Abia State, Mr. Okezie Ikpeazu, said the group is opposed to the relocation of the electoral tribunals of Rivers, Taraba and Akwa Ibom states to Abuja.
The forum unanimously elected Dr. Segun Mimiko of Ondo State as the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum. We congratulate President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, on his election as the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces. We also commend and salute our former President, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, for his display of peaceful disposition in the 2015 general election, which has stabilized our political landscape. We condemn in very strong terms the relocation of the State Election Tribunal in Rivers State, Taraba State, and Akwa Ibom to Abuja. These were our decisions. We thank you for your patience, and we hope that we'll be seeing you soon again. Thank you very much.
Still on politics, it will amount to creating a storm in a teacup if the situation in the All Progressives Congress is seen as a crisis. That's the perception of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, who describes the issue as merely a political situation. Honorable Dogara made this clear while receiving members of the APC 2014 Presidential Primaries Convention Committee in the National Assembly.
We are here to bring change, and we must commence the work for change in all honesty. And I will implore our party members, regardless of the difficulties we are facing at the moment, to unite and pursue this change. Some people talk about crisis in the party. I don't see any crisis at all. So the crisis being perceived by a section of people in the APC is not crisis, it's politics. And as politicians, we just have to manage it. We will never run into a situation where we have everything perfectly fitted. It will never happen. But it is through the clash and compromises of ideas like this, through maybe events that we consider as crisis, that may lead us to the attainment of the truth, no matter.
Time for us to look at our business stories here on the News at 10.
First Bank. You first.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Business News. I am Adeshewa Josh. A new report released today by the Statistics Office has revealed that only 23 out of the total 36 state governments submitted the details of their internally generated revenues for 2014 fiscal year to the Data Generation and Collation Agency. The IGR data released was inconclusive for the past calendar year, as the states of Abia, Adamawa, Borno, Cross River, Ebonyi, Edo, Gombe, Jigawa, Kano, Kwara, Ondo, Taraba and Yobe were yet to submit their report to the Bureau of Statistics as of June 2015. Among the 23 states that reported their internally generated revenue for last year, Lagos leads with a total sum of 276.1 billion naira. Rivers came second at 89.1 billion naira, while Delta was in the third position with 42.8 billion naira. A team of experts from the International Atomic Energy Agency is currently in Nigeria on a 2-week visit to assess the country's preparedness for nuclear energy generation. The Nigerian government began aggressive revitalization of its nuclear power generation program 3 years ago through active funding of the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission and preliminary scientific studies being conducted at some local universities. Nigeria plans to site the 2 initial nuclear power plants, which will generate 1,200 megawatts on completion in Akwa Ibom and Kogi State. That the Warri refinery will soon be up and running again. The maintenance of the refinery began 18 months ago and will now be producing 50% of its installed capacity and will run on about 4,000 million liters of petrol per day. Sources say the first consignment of crude oil for refining production arrived at the facility on Monday. Last week, the management of the NNPC announced that the refinery located in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, would begin production next month, targeting 80% of installed capacity. Nigeria has 4 refineries whose output is falling well below capacity. Now, trading ended on a negative note at the Nigerian equities market for the second time this week. The all-share index shed 0.37%. The market capitalization now stands at 11.42 trillion naira. Christy Cole has the details.
Welcome to the Stock Markets Report. Equities trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended southward a second time this week as lack of investment information kept investors farther from equities. The key benchmark indices slowed by 0.37% as the market capitalization settled for the day at 11.42 trillion naira. With 22 gainers and 24 losers recorded at the end of the session, Nigerian breweries advanced with ₦1.87 in price, while Berger Paints and Corn Oil leapt by a little above ₦1 gains each. Now, on the decliners log, Bellwether's Guinness shed ₦9.75, Dangote Cement slipped by ₦2, and Better Glass lost ₦1.96. Banking stocks were the volume shockers of the day, with EcoBank Transnational Incorporated pulling over 33 million shares ahead of Zenith Bank and Axis Bank. The midweek trading session had a total of 204.99 million unit shares traded for 7.40 billion naira in 3,700 deals. And that's the stock markets report. I am Christy Cole Bokwola.
Thanks a lot, Christy. One of Nigeria's most capitalized lender, Stanbic IBTC, has issued a notice that it will publish its list of loan defaulters by the end of August, in line with central bank's directives. The commercial lender, which plans to use legal means to recover non-performing loans, follows another lender joining the likes of Unity Bank that has threatened to publish such a list. The central bank had put the total of non-performing loans in the industry at 480 billion naira and ordered lenders to crack down on debtors. This will be the second publication of debtors list in 6 years. That'll be all on Business News tonight. The news at 10 continues in a moment.
First Bank. You first.
Next on the news at 10, Confederation of African Football CAF slams the Super Eagles midfielder Ogenyi Onazi on a 2-game ban. That's on Sports News. Stay with us.